Hi, Akbar.
Hi Vijay.
So tell us, why did you start ARSHIL? You were doing so well professionally. Why did you become an entrepreneur?
So Vijay, that's an excellent question. I wanted to redefine the application development experience. When I talk about application development experience, all the way from architecting a solution to designing to developing, testing, and delivery. I always felt when I go to a new project, I always felt I was setting up the project, I was creating the project structure, and then start writing code. And 90% of the code that I was writing is very generic. So I felt like 90% of the development time is doing the mundane tasks, whereas only 10% to 20% of the time is spent in developing the business solution and putting all the business rules on top of it.
Mhm.
So when it comes to a greenfield application development, I felt like there is a huge gap or huge inefficiency, I should say, and I want to make it more efficient. And I felt that making it more efficient will enhance all the technical people's experience in developing application software. And that is the reason I started Axel. Axel will take care of all the mundane tasks an architect and a developer should do to deliver a project. And eventually, it graduated into application modernization where it can take the existing application and convert it. So, my vision when I started Axel and Arshil is to make continuous modernization, continuous enhancements of the existing application, and minimize the technology debt of any of these software applications.
Mhm. So when did you start Axel? Was it before AI or after AI?
I started it before AI.
Mhm.
So I always had this uh, idea of generating code because, like I said, most of the time developers are spending in writing mundane code. When I say mundane code, if it is a Java, they are creating all the POJOs, basically plain old Java objects. So every time they go, they have to create hundreds of plain old Java objects. And these objects should be mapped to a database and a table in the database. And the ORM has to be in place. All these are generic pieces of uh, application code that the developers are generating for every application, for every requirement which is not needed. So when I was working with Eclipse itself, I wrote an RPG code which used to generate microservices. Those were the SOAP based, XML based services. And I added a menu item, and if you click generate service, it will generate the shell of the service. All the developer had to do is add the business logic. So from that point, this was in 2005, 2006,
Oh,
and and
so that was the genesis of Axel.
that was the genesis for
Now,
that.
can you tell us now, post AI,
Yes.
AI has brought in so many improvements. How did Axel improve to incorporate the benefits of AI as well?
So when we initially started with Excel, we were focused on the developer's mundane tasks. An architect should be in place to create the initial architecture, define the microservices, and define the data models, and then hand it over to Axel. Axel will generate 70 to 80% of the code and give it to the developer, and the developer can add the enhancements and customize the code generated by Axel.
Okay. In
With
what way is it different from AI? But AI also can do that.
yes, definitely AI can do that.
Uh,
That's why I say application development is not about code. AI can generate code. Okay? But what Axel does on top of AI is Axel will make sure it does not hallucinate. Which means if you go to AI and say, I want to develop an employee management application,
mhm.
it will give you the code. If it is ChatGPT, it will generate the code based on each piece, each snippet of code, and you can download Codex, OpenAI
Okay.
Codex, or Cloud Code, or Anti Gravity, anything. It will generate the code. But how how compliant, how secure, and how apt the code is. If you go back and say, if you give the same prompt the second time, it will give a different set of code.
Mm.
And your developer has to be smart enough, intelligent enough to understand different variations of the code generated by AI. If you are going with Excel, you can set up your enterprise policies, security standards, naming conventions, and everything in Excel. and Axel will not hallucinate, we can guarantee that, and it will give you the same set of code no matter how many times you give the same input. And that will comply with the organization security standards and the enterprise policy. It will follow the naming convention. It will give you all the documentation. It will give you all the units.
And the developers can further work on the code and modify it as per their business logic.
Exactly, yes. And what we are doing with Axel is, Axel does not own the IP of the code it generates. Axel is just sitting behind the screen. It will generate the code, hand it over to the developer, and once the developer understands the pattern of the code generated by Axel, which is very simple. Okay. Most of our developers who are less than 3 years of experience, it took them hardly 2 weeks to understand the pattern of the code generated by Axel. Once that is there, the pattern of the code is consistent.
Okay.
And the security is baked into this code because we already configured the security standards and the enterprise policies into Axel. So before generating the code, Axel has to be configured with the metadata. That's why I say a typical application development starts with coding, but with Axel, it starts with configuring the metadata.
Okay, okay. So with the advent of AI, how did you make it stronger and made it more useful for the end customer?
So when we started off with Axel, like any other product, it was not matured or robust. It used to generate the code. We used to generate the microservices. We used to generate the UI, and the UI was not colorful. We had a standard UI template format that Axel used to follow. Okay? But the input for Axel has to be provided by the architect. But with the advent of AI, what happened was the architect's role got minimized. The architect has to give the idea, and Axel itself will utilize AI to prompt the architect about different options, different services, different data models. And once the architect decides how they want to develop the application, that will take that as input. It will combine with the configuration that is already there from the policies perspective and standards perspective, naming conventions perspective, and generate the code. Okay. It is a AI is doing a lot of stuff, but what we are doing is we are taking out the hallucinating part from the AI. And besides that, as we are growing into a robust platform for application development, if we are just generating application code, we are enabling startups, and we are only dealing with small and medium businesses.
Okay.
Now we added a couple of modules to it, like Connect Engine and AI Gateway, and these plug and play modules enhance the ability of Axel to generate enterprise grade applications that can integrate with external systems and that can interface with AI models.
Can you explain a little bit more about AI Gateway? It sounds interesting. See, lots of organizations actually are trying to get into this AI game, but they're not able to do that because of legacy systems or whatever reasons, and also they want to do it in a controlled way. So, is AI Gateway going to help in any manner for these organizations, or it has to be taken bundled with Axel?
You don't have to bundle that with
Okay.
Axel.
Okay.
That's a straight, simple question. AI Gateway can exist by itself, and for Axel, we are integrating with AI Gateway to provide AI-related interactions in Axel. And when Axel generates an application, we provide Axel as a plug-and-play module for the generated application to make it AI-enabled. Now, having said that, you brought up a very interesting point about legacy systems and the existing software systems and enabling them for AI interactions. AI Gateway is exclusively built to make legacy applications AI-enabled with minimal effort. The way it goes is, if you have a use case where you want to utilize AI, but your existing legacy system is not built to integrate with AI, you can plug in this AI Gateway and define your business event and which model you have to integrate with and in which mechanism you want to integrate, It can be a generative AI or agentic AI, or it can be a RAG model, whatever it is. Okay, AI gateway will take care of that. You can configure it to do what your business event has to do with the AI, and it can return the results into your legacy application with all the traceability, transparency. It will also tell you how long it is going to take, how many tokens or credits are utilized to perform the job, and all that information, and it will return the response in the format that you are expecting.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can take this, you can publish a message and take this output and load it into your existing legacy system. You don't have to modernize your legacy system. All you have to do is integrate with AI gateway, and your legacy system is AI enabled.
Okay, so do you mean to say that instead of employees directly trying to, take the advantage of AI, if they go through the AI gateway, it will be done in a more governed and more controlled manner, and also there will be audit trail. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
So we implemented AI gateway for uh, healthcare systems, and as you know, the compliance for healthcare systems is very high.
Absolutely.
And we baked in HL7, HIPAA compliance, and everything into AI gateway. Now when we started off with this healthcare application, the AI capability of the organization is minimal, and they are hunting for AI engineers. So like any ChatGPT, we don't want to eliminate engineers, but we definitely need some AI engineers, but not like 10 to 15 AI engineers to enable AI. Okay. So what we did was we just asked them to publish events to the AI gateway. We configured AI gateway to interact with the model and return the responses. And what AI gateway does is it will take the event, it will give the context, it will give the embeddings and everything to the model, and it will get the response.
Okay. Suppose I am an organization, right, with legacy systems, and I want to implement this AI gateway.
Yes.
What are the steps involved? Is it very complex?
It is not very complex. All you have to do is, after completing all the organizational formalities, all you need to do from the technology standpoint is every organization has a messaging system. Yeah. Every organization has some API integrations. So all you have to do is publish a business event to AI gateway and define that business event and what kind of AI interaction that you are expecting and what kind of output that you are expecting from AI. The AI gateway will interact with the external LLMs or SLMs or whatever it is, and get you the response in the expected format.
Do you mean to say that ARSHIL's team will come and configure AI gateway for an organization with any legacy systems?
So initially, maybe yes, but AI gateway comes with its own UI, and any organization, once we implement it, anybody can go to the AI gateway UI. Once they need minimal training, once they are trained, they should be able to configure it.
Great. So I have been talking to several organizations with legacy systems. They have been suffering in the process. What I meant to say is they want to modernize, they want to come out of it, but they don't know how to do it or when to do it. They're not suffering right now because of the legacy systems, but they know very clearly that they have to catch up with the changing technology. So on one end of the spectrum, we have legacy system organizations which do not want to change, but they want to take care of AI capabilities. That is how our AI gateway comes into picture. On the other end of the spectrum, there are companies who actually want to modernize and also exploit the complete capability of AI. So how do we help those kind of organizations to modernize? And do we have any automation products here also?
Yeah, basically when you have so when you talk about legacy systems, first let's talk about legacy systems. What is a legacy system? When I started my career, a legacy system is like a 30-year-old application. Now, with a legacy system, the system that is developed 5 years back is already a legacy system now. Because systems that were developed before ChatGPT, So since the technology is evolving at a rapid pace, the systems are becoming outdated fast, very quickly. So how do you, so there used to be a time where you used to say we are going to modernize our applications once every 10 years or once every 15 years. Now there is no luxury. The system should be modernized, and that's where I say continuous modernization. Okay, because AI enabled everybody to develop applications at a rapid pace. When everybody is developing applications at that pace, there is no room for people to think. You said when to modernize. When to modernize is not the question. The system should be modernized as of today, and it should be modernized tomorrow, and it should be modernized the day after. So you
Yeah,
can,
actually, that is one of the reasons why people are hesitant because they know they modernize today. The technology may change within a year, within 6 months. Then how do again catch up?
yes.
That is always a question. It's very similar to like buying a car model. New car has come. You
Yes.
are going and you are scouting parade, checking out, and you come to know that another model has come up.
Exactly.
So like that, how do we handle the
Yes.
fast evolving, fast changing technology and still ensure that you are always modernized or you're ahead of the game?
So it is as simple as this. So Axel comes into picture for that. So Axel, the one more reason for going with Axel is the continuous modernization approach.
Okay.
If Axel stays up to date with the technology, you should be able to regenerate your code every single day, deploy every single day, and stay on top of the curve every single day. That's not a practical solution, but that is possible with tools like Axel.
Okay. You mean to say when an organization modernizes with ARSHIL, with the help of this Axel platform and the Connect engine and the AI gateway that you have, so they will be able to become a future-ready organization. That means at any point of time they want to further modernize.
Yes.
With the help of this, it will be done in a shorter period of time.
Exactly.
They don't have to do it the way they did it the first time, right?
Exactly. So let me give you an analogy. Okay. So the cars that you got 20 years back, they might not have ABS. They might not have the latest and the greatest technology. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you take Tesla, the car is delivered on day one. You don't have FSD.
Right.
If you need FSD, all you have to do is subscribe. And there is Tesla. Let's assume hypothetically, Tesla that you bought does not have ABS. ABS is not, and you don't even have to take your car into dealership, and you don't have to re-architect your car to make it ABS enabled. All they are doing is they are just pushing the software update, and your car has it.
Super.
So the same thing can be done with Axel. So all you have to do is, whenever you are ready for modernization, tell Axel, hey, I'm ready for modernization. Because I go back to the point, Axel does not start with coding, it starts with metadata. Axel already has the metadata. It has the context of your application. It knows exactly what you need. Just go back to Axel and say, I'm ready for modernization, regenerate the application. It will regenerate the application using the metadata, following all the technology updates that you need as of today.
And also following all the enterprise policy.
Exactly. It has all the context. It follows all that.
What about data security? Data modernization is another major challenge being faced by a lot of people. And they're also worried about data security because of this AI thing. The day my data will go out, will be seen by the competitors, and will get exposed. All the models will try to learn based on my data. So how do I protect? How are we taking care of that?
So that is where all these LLMs are coming into picture. So when we say we have to take the LLM into our environment and train the model using our data, and we have to utilize it internally within our environment. And LLMs are giving that provision. You don't have to worry about LLM taking your data, learning and using that knowledge to publish it to the entire world.
So this AI gateway will take care of the data security as well.
Yes, it will.
Okay.
And when it comes to data security, there are multiple things, right? So when you don't know, you will have the fear. When you understand, you will become more confident. So it is the same when it comes to security. What I say is, when people didn't know how to build a skyscraper with a single brick wall, they used to throw all the mountain rocks and build a wall that is this thick. As as they are becoming confident, the size of the wall shrunk.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with data security. As people get educated and they know what kind of security best practices they have to follow,
Mm-hmm.
they can that security wall will shrink into a single brick wall, yet it will be effective from protecting. So now with the cloud, if you look at all the network architecture, so the security is not just about the data platforms or applications. It also involves infrastructure as code, which Axel can generate. And the infrastructure as code that Axel generates complies with all the security standards. And it will make sure all the data is sitting in a secure subnet and nobody will have access to it. So if you have, if you go with a manual process of doing all this, typically security will come 2 days before the release. With Axel, when you create the metadata itself, the security is baked into your application.
Absolutely. So I hear you've been talking about a third component here as well in the whole modernization effort, that is Connect Engine. So can you explain a little bit more about
So that is Connect Engine is how do I say, is an evolution of Axel into building enterprise grade applications. Like I said, when we initially started, we were supporting small and medium businesses and startups. For startups, they don't have to integrate with a bunch of external systems. But enterprise applications, they have to integrate with other applications within the organization, and they have to integrate with external organizations. When they are integrating, most of the time it is API driven integration, and sometimes it is asynchronous message driven integration. And there are different security mechanisms. They might have to incorporate OAuth security, or it can be just an API key, or it can be like a basic user ID password kind of security. So when I looked at this integration, if your application is integrating with each individual system from the application itself, it is going to create a spaghetti of integrations.
Right.
So what we are doing with the Connect Engine is, it is more like a hub and spoke model. It is going to be a centralized system to which you can publish an event. The Connect Engine knows what you are publishing. It can transform to the channel that you are trying to integrate with, and it will connect to that. It will and publish that transformed message to that, takes the response and sends the response back to the source system. So one good thing, there are multiple Connect engines that are already in the market, but one unique thing about the Connect engine is it can work with multi-tenants, which means the source system can have 10 different tenants, and those tenants can be managed inside this Connect engine. So we don't consider the source system as our source system. It can be integrated with hundreds of source systems, and each source system might have hundreds of tenants, and each tenant might have a requirement to integrate with a bunch of or target systems, and that integration can be configured, enabled in a single component, which is the Connect engine.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Again, so what you're trying to say here is there are three components, right? Axel, which is great in auto code generation, building new applications, as well as modernizing applications.
Exactly.
And you have Connect Engine, which can actually automate your integrations across several channels or several tenants. And also you have AI Gateway. So all three put together makes a very powerful package called ACE, which helps in legacy systems modernizing and adopting, latest technology and AI capabilities. That's great. And you're also saying, from what I gather, is that all these three components can be taken separately as well and put into use by any legacy application or any organization without hampering or their existing systems.
Exactly. So that's where I give the analogy of a car mechanic versus cardiac surgeon. A car mechanic has the option to turn off the engine before changing the oil, whereas the cardiac surgeon cannot do that. And we are not car mechanics. We have to be cardiac surgeons. We cannot disrupt the enterprise operation, We have to keep the enterprise operations going, and we have to modernize them without impacting any of their customers.
Okay.
And that is our goal, and we can accomplish that.
Super, super. This is great, knowing what ARSHIL is doing and has done so far. But what is your future plan? What is your vision for ARSHIL?
The vision for ARSHIL is simple: redefine application development process and make it more efficient, and provide an excellent technology experience for business analysts, architects, developers, quality assurance engineers, everybody that are involved in developing and delivering a software solution.
So you're not competing with AI, you're actually co-opting AI. Is that so?
Exactly, yes. We are not competing with AI, and we love AI. Because when ChatGPT came out and when it started generating code, everybody in our organization were afraid that we have to compete with big wigs like Microsoft and AMD and NVIDIA and all these guys. But very soon we realized it is helping us, and we have to commingle with AI. And it helped us in a lot more ways, because when I first went to people with the idea of Axel and code generation, people never understood. And people used to say, I'm bluffing, how can he generate the code? Okay. And ChatGPT coming into picture made it easy for me to do my sales pitches and market this product. Now people understand code can be generated. Now they're asking, how are you going to compete with AI? I'm not competing with AI. We can integrate our products with AI. We can take advantage of AI, and we can minimize, or we can add value where AI is causing trouble to our customers.
Super. The final question.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want you to give two messages. Whatever, if you want to give a message to your customers, what will you say? And if you want to give a message to your current employees or future employees who aspire to work for ARSHIL, what would you say?
So I am the first message, or that's the two messages. The first message is for all the technical people. All the developers and IT workers are afraid that AI is going to take over all the IT jobs, and they might not need developers in the future. They might not need QA in the future, and we are seeing quite a few organizations are laying off QA and IT team members. My perspective is, there is a change in the game. The landscape is changing definitely, and it is a disruption. But AI is making our developers and quality assurance engineers more efficient. Okay, the business. So generally, I say, people say technology is evolving at a fast pace. So far, the technology was lacking when it comes to business requirements. The business requirements were forcing the technology to evolve. So when I was 15 years back, there was no drag and drop functionality on web applications, and business users were asking for the drag and drop functionality. The technology evolved to accommodate that requirement. Always the business requirements were forcing the technology to evolve. Now with AI, technology is catching up with the business requirements. The reason you are seeing this disruption is the business functional people were not ready for this kind of disruption in the technology. Now their business requirements have to evolve to the next level, so their businesses will become more efficient. When they catch up with all the AI disruption, then the technology workers has to come back to support AI. The reason why the IT people became obsolete or jobless is because the functional requirements did not evolve to take advantage of AI. When the business requirements evolve and become more complex to take advantage of AI, the technology people has to come back.
So what's your message to these technical people?
Technical people, don't worry about it. As long as you are true to technology, and if you are a true technical person, you will have your job.
Okay.
Exactly.
What is your message to customers who would like to modernize with legacy systems? What is your message to them?
Legacy systems are legacy system modernization used to be a humongous task. So the first legacy system modernization project that I worked, it took us 6 years to replace a mainframe system with a Java based system. Now with AI, we can modernize the same system in 3 months
without disrupting the
their current flow.
Super.
So COBOL to Python or COBOL to Go, whichever conversion can be done using AI. And the modernization is faster because if you are failing, you will fail fast and you can recover from that without disrupting the current application. And modernization can be faster and efficient.
And you also said it will be completely future ready.
It will be future ready, exactly. Yes.
And finally, what's your message to employees, current, prospective, aspiring, whatever?
Especially IT employees, if you are technical and if you are competent, you will survive. If you are not technical and if you are not competent, you will not survive. Because non-competent IT technology team members' work is taken over by AI. The competent people will still stay and they will take advantage of AI and they will deliver fast.
Super. In the end, employees who are currently working for ARSHIL or who would like to work for ARSHIL, what's your message to them?
So, employees who are working for ARSHIL, first I would like to thank them because without them we wouldn't have been what we are. And luckily, we have a very good team. Without the team, we couldn't deliver anything. And their dedication, their hard work is what is showing up when we are talking about ARSHIL or any delivery that we are doing from ARSHIL. Okay. And when we started ARSHIL, when I was initially talking to the HR team members and people who were providing HR support, the first thing I told them is ARSHIL should be a people-centric organization. If we don't have people, we cannot deliver anything. And I stand by my word. There are so many organizations that are saying we have to cut down the workforce. AI is going to take over these face jobs. We don't need these people. That's BS. So we still need people, but AI will make these people more efficient. And luckily, we have been a lean organization from the beginning. And only the people, when we hire people, we are going through this vetting process where we are hiring more competent and great people. So if people come in, we welcome them and we treat them. And the other thing about ARSHIL's people policy is we are so people centric. We pamper our developers. Sometimes there is backfiring on us, but when we pamper our developers and when we treat them with respect, they are staying. And if you look at the employee retention in the last 3 years, it is very low for a small organization like us.
Yeah, you mean say attrition is
employee retention is high, attrition is very low. Exactly. Yeah.
Great, Akbar. Thank you. It's been great talking to you.
Same here.
Thank you.